The mission on Lady K Sailing has always been to get more people sailing more easily. And for some folks, jumping onto a 15,000 pound 35 footer is just too much too quickly. So, what is the easiest bar to jump if you want to own a boat? The least commitment and likely the least expensive. This week on Everything You Need to Know, it's not about the big, heavy ocean-going island packets or the luxury of the fold-down transom-having Oceanus. This week, it's all about that first boat, the easiest boat of them all, the trailer sailor. The first thing we should do is come up with a working definition. After all, you can put just about anything on a trailer, right? Let's focus the conversation on a boat-trailer combination that can be towed with vehicles commonly found in residential environments. We'll stop somewhere in the area of the half-ton pickup, like a 1500 series, but we'll find lots of options before we get that far. We can also include monohull and multi-hull options. Its primary source of power will be sails, of course, but we'll include options with auxiliary power, usually in the form of an outboard motor. Now that we've roughed in what we want to consider, let's answer the first question. What does a trailer sailor have to offer that makes it worth my attention at all? Trailer sailors are serious consideration for sailors of all skill level and experience. They're smaller, lighter designs. They allow for easier sailing even when you're short-handed or single-handed by yourself. Their smaller designs also mean lower maintenance costs and some other additional storage options. They can easily fit into most slips at any marina, even in the little tiny mom and pop marinas. You can still opt for a mooring ball if that's your preference, or, and here's the cool part, you can recover your own boat with the trailer and store it on the hard wherever you want. Many marinas offer dry storage where you can keep your boat rigged with the mast up and ready for a quick launch. You can expect this option to be much less burdensome to your wallet too. It might be as low as 1/3 the cost of a slip. Keeled trailer sailors come in a variety of options like their big brother counterparts. They come in wing, fin, and swing keels that are most commonly seen. Swing keels offer very shallow drafts, sometimes less than a foot. Even wing keels can keep your draft under 3 feet, making both options great for tucking into places the bigger boats just can't go. This may be especially helpful for sailors whose venues are mainly inland lakes. If you have the depth, though, for a fin keel, you can go that route too, and you'll enjoy being able to point a little bit higher into the wind when you sign up for weekly club races. Some trailer sailors can be rigged so quickly and easily that you can store it at home. Take it whenever you're able to bail out of work a little bit early and be sailing by dinner time. Again, your wallet will stress less with options for those boats less than $1,000. New to you multi-hulls can easily be found for just a few $100 US, and they're an absolute blast in light wind. For longer term storage, I'm looking at you folks who actually have a winter like I do, and you have a lot more options with a trailer sailor for that off season. You want to store the boat under a tarp at the marina? Go for it. If your brother-in-law has a pole barn on his acreage and is willing to let you store the boat there for free, yeah, I'd do it. Your desk partner at work has room at her place and she'll let you put the boat there through the winter, it's a win. When you're already on a trailer, the number of options that present themselves may surprise you. Another perk to the trailer sailor, we know that things are going to break on boats. It's unavoidable. Many trailer sailors are simpler designs, which translates to less things to go wrong. We'll look at some options in a minute, but suffice it to say, some brands and models have very, very strong market presence. Some border on fraternal allegiance to their specific make and model. I'm not kidding. And this means there's a ton of information out there immediately available on how to maintain, repair, or upgrade just about anything you want. And because of their popularity, parts are readily available too. Let's look at some options. Catamarans are actually a great configuration to start with. There's lots of options out there. And we simply could not have this conversation without mentioning hobbie. If you're brand new to sailing and unfamiliar with this company, many consider them to be the standard for recreational sailing catamarans around 16 feet. This model is 17 feet. It weighs just 390 pounds, and it comes with a trailer. This low weight is easily towed behind anything, even your Uber driver's Kia Forte. With a little help, you can even push the trailer by hand when you go to tuck it into some out-of-the-way corner in your brother's pole barn when winter shows up. The hulls are made with molded plastic, which is remarkably resilient and very low on maintenance requirements. You can easily fit a couple friends on her and head out before stopping in at a beach to have a cool, refreshing beverage. And because this catamaran has kick-up rudders and no keels, you can literally sail this thing right onto the beach. One Lady K viewer in the US tells me that there's a Hobie 16 for sale, ready to sail with a trailer for $500 at his local yacht club. Believe me when I say these things are out there, and they are a blast. And of course, more manufacturers means more options. This Windrider 17 is a triamaran, again molded plastic hulls and steel tubing connecting the outrigging, so it's a solid boat, low to the water and fun that can be had and taken wherever you want. These boats are designed to be day sailors and don't normally have any sort of electrical systems, which means reduced maintenance and no navigation lights. Lady K Sailing is brought to you by patrons, people who give a couple of bucks an episode to help me make these videos. The mission at Lady K Sailing has always been to get more people sailing more easily, and I couldn't do it without you guys. If you'd like to help out, please consider becoming a patron, and a big shout out to the existing patrons as well. Thank you so much for taking us so far. I am truly astounded and humbled by all the amazing people who help me make these videos with their support, the likes, the comments, everything. It is such a blessing, and my gratitude genuinely overflows every time I sit down to write one of these videos. Thank you. Okay, now it's time to move up the size chart a little bit. Here's a 1996 Precision 165 for sale at a list price of less than $5,000. Now we're in a fiberglass monohull with a wing keel with a total trailer weight of around 1,000 pounds. Towing it is still going to be really easy. And at this size, the cabin will really just be for storage of sails, fenders, whatever gear that you bring on board. And it's hard to tell from this particular listing, but it looks like this boat does not have navigation lights, which means no battery, no electrical system to worry about. And we've also transitioned out of multi-hulls. Some might prefer the handling of a monohull and being able to feel the boat's response to the wind. The draft of this boat will be in the 2 to 2.5 foot range, so you'll be able to get into some tighter spaces. There are a number of manufacturers who make solid, capable boats that are able to be trailered. Hunter, Beneteau, J-Boat, and more. They're easy to find for sale. If you want to go fast on a boat and you want to be able to spin it around on its keel, maybe a Far East 19R is right for you. But there is one model of boat out there that we have to talk about in this conversation. You know how I said certain makes and models have an almost fraternal following from their owners? The Catalina 22, without a doubt, fits that description. First manufactured in 1969, there are now thousands of these things out there available. And there are variations, with the newer design boats being manufactured from 1986 to 95. The Catalina 22 Mark II took over until 2004, and now you'll find the Catalina 22 Sport. Again, fin, wing, and swing keel options are available. And to add more options, the Catalina Capri 22s are fractional rig sloops with adjustable backstays and even a roller furling for the headsail. At this size, it's common to see electrical systems right from the factory on these boats. Usually you'll find a single 12-volt marine battery powering cabin lights and navigation system, lights outside, a deck light, steaming light, and anchor light. It's also common to find instrumentation panels on these with water depth, wind speed and direction, and water speed. These are also big enough to have a cabin fit for overnight adventures and weekending. All of these boats weigh in around 22 to 2,500 pounds before adding any equipment or an outboard motor. It's to be expected that the wheel weight of one of these is going to be about $3,000 to $3,500 once it's on a trailer. At this point, we should probably talk about tow vehicles a little bit. Every vehicle has weight ratings that include payload, maximum towing capacity, and gross vehicle weight rating. If these terms are new to you, take the time to learn about them from a reliable source. There are plenty of videos showing someone pulling a 20,000 pound load with their 6-cylinder SUV. And while these videos are good for a laugh, assuming no one got hurt, in this context, knowing your vehicle's limits are as much a safety necessity, and they can't be overstated. High altitude perspective, I recently exchanged emails with a viewer who uses a 1500 series pickup to pull a Capri 22 fully loaded, and it's well within the margins of that truck's weight ratings. Those weight ratings are also an important variable to keep in mind should you be tempted to move up a size from these 22 footers. On a 2005 Catalina Capri 22, the keel weighs around 700 pounds. The boat displaces around 2,200 pounds. Moving up from that 22 to a Catalina 25, just 3 feet longer, and things change pretty quickly. The same wing keel now weighs 1,700 pounds, and the boat displaces around 4,400. Adding 3 feet to the length overall equals doubling the boat's weight. For a lot of reasons, that can be really good. When you're thinking about buying a trailer sailor, though, you want to make sure that that decision is intentional. The tow vehicle that you had planned may not be the right one for that next size up. We should also take a minute to talk about the trailer itself. When maintained well, trailers will last the life of the boat that they're meant to carry. Maintenance will include lights, electrical harness, brakes, which some trailers have and some don't, bunk boards or rollers, and wheel bearings. If your boat and trailer that you're looking at are coming from a saltwater area, take the time to look at the trailer to make sure it's still roadworthy. You might want to consider having the wheel bearings repacked with grease before you start the trip home. Take a look at the tongue too. Some trailers have an extending tongue that helps you push the boat farther into the water down the ramp, where hopefully it'll be deep enough to get the keel up off the trailer. This will be more important with the deeper draft boats. If the trailer's tongue is designed to extend, does it actually work? As great as trailer sailors are, we know everything with a boat is of course a compromise. So what's the other side of this conversation? If you plan to move your boat around often, it'll need to be made roadworthy each time. That means each time you sail, you'll have to step the mast, set up all the rigging, and load the sails. With practice, this can be accomplished in about an hour, maybe less depending on how much help that you have. It will take less time with multi-hulls that we talked about. There are a number of clever ways, though, to step the mast on the little bit larger boats, including the use of a trailer winch. Some people use a gin pole, which helps put leverage where you want it to get the mast up. Many people just muscle it into position and use the main sheet or even a boom vang to hold it in place while they pin the forestay in place. When it's time to go home, you get to do it all again, in reverse. Plan on those 2 steps, adding at least a couple hours to your day. If you're boat camping, though, or tying off to a mooring ball, or better yet, putting it in a slip, it won't be much of an issue at all. And you know how things break on a boat and you should always plan for it? The same thing applies to the trailer. Having an actual jack and a spare tire should be on the list of mandatory equipment that you take with you. And while we're talking about trailers, if your experience with backing up a trailer is limited, practice before you get to the ramp. Find an empty parking lot and build confidence in putting the trailer right where you want it. Aim small, miss small. If it helps, remember to put your steering hand at 6 o'clock on the steering wheel and then move that hand in the direction you want the trailer to go. Nothing is more fun than sitting across from the local boat ramp watching people try to back up boats. It's an actual sport where I'm from. Trailer sailors are a fantastic option for a lot of people in a lot of different circumstances, with a multitude of options to make it easy to find and get the right fit. Let me know in the comments below which trailer sailor you would consider and why. And if you're boat shopping and need help right now and want to book an hour of my time, head on over to ladyksailing.com/consults. In the meantime, I will see you guys next week. Keep the heavy side down, but not too far down. We'll see you.